Hey, what's going on, ladies and gents? How are you people doing here? So here's my reaction to the Champions League draw. Bayern Munich got drawn up against PSG, and I'm going to talk about this here in this video because the Champions League draw was here, the round of 16, and in my honest opinion, I'm personally glad that Bayern got drawn up against a very tough side in PSG, because here's the thing, man. If Bayern want to prove that they want to win or if they want to earn that Champions League trophy, then you can't just expect it to be given to you, okay? So at this point, with Bayern being drawn up against PSG, they're going to have to go and find a way how to win against PSG. I mean, there's no other option, okay? Yes, I know PSG, they got a very insane squad, Neymar, Messi, he's been having his finest season so far for PSG, and it just goes to show you here that Messi's I guess you could say his first setback in his first season he suffered at PSG was just nothing but a fluke, because now Messi, he's really turning things up right now, and of course you can't forget about the main man, the main legend. Well, I mean, he is a future football legend, and that is Mbappe, of course. So obviously Bayern, it's going to be a very tough task for Bayern's center back duo of De Ligt and Upamecano. But me personally, I think Bayern match up very, very well against PSG, especially their front attack. Well, to be fair, I think that PSG obviously have the way better front attack than Bayern do, but I think that the way how Bayern can win against PSG here is simply by just having our defense, find a way how to contain PSG's front attack, because if we can do that, then realistically, that's the only way how I see us beating PSG in the round of 16. Because if you think about it with PSG, if you don't have a good defense and you're facing PSG, then PSG's front attack can really make opposing defenses' life a living hell if they don't have a plan on how to go about, finding a way how to take away PSG's passing options and all that stuff. Because I personally think that's the only realistic chance Bayern have of being able to make it past the round of 16 against a very tough PSG side. But hey, man, this is what football is all about, because if you guys remember, Bayern in this past Champions League, they were going up against Villarreal, and everybody thought that, hey, since they're playing with 7th place Villarreal, what can happen, right? So, well, then a rude awakening happened, and Bayern got knocked out by Villarreal. So this is why, whenever you go against any of these teams here, you can't just expect to sit back comfortably and think you're just going to be guaranteed to win. It doesn't work that way, especially in the Champions League, because Champions League trophies, they are earned, not given. So Bayern, they have to prove that if they really want that Champions League trophy, then they just need to compete. Just freaking compete. No excuses. Just go out there and find a way to win. And you look at us not having a lethal solid striker. Well, obviously, so far, the recent form of Choupo-Moting, I guess, maybe gives Bayern somewhat of a temporary insurance for a striker until we can land maybe a solid striker like Harry Kane, for example, because I've been reading in the talks, that Harry Kane could be a possible transfer target for Bayern Munich and all that stuff. But the way how I see it, if Bayern just simply go into the PSG game with them just having a plan on how to stop their front attack, because especially since we have a really good center back pairing of De Ligt and of Upamecano, if they can just continue to play like that in the Champions League and just, find a way how to basically not to allow PSG any space inside our box, then realistically, I think that's the only way how we can beat PSG in this matchup here, if I'm being honest here. So, yeah. That's one way how I think Bayern are probably going to go about this, their matchup against PSG and all that stuff. Because obviously, man, hey, PSG, man, they are a killer squad. Obviously, they are a team that's still hungry for that Champions League trophy. They are still on a mission. And with Bayern going up against, obviously, one other area of factor that we need to consider is how well can Neuer perform against the PSG, because if you guys remember, last time Neuer played against PSG, we lost. But prior to that game in the Champions League final, especially going back to the 2020 Champions League final, Neuer, I think, possibly had the best and ever performance I've ever seen by a goalkeeper in a Champions League final. You can't name a better performance by a goalkeeper than that. Well, also, there was also Jetsi Dudek's performance against against AC Milan in the 2005 Champions League final. So maybe that can be up for debate. But the way how I see it, man, Neuer's 2020 Champions League final performance against PSG, by far the best performance in a Champions League final I've ever seen by a goalkeeper, at least in my lifetime personally. So that's the way how I see it. But yeah, if Neuer can just step up and be that superhero keeper and just find a way how to save nearly every shot from Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar in that matchup, then maybe, just maybe, Bayern can cruise their way to a victory over PSG. And of course, Leroy Sané, we have our own really good attack, you know, with him, Mane, Coman. So obviously, in that game, I think that one player to watch out for Bayern in that game is going to be Leroy Sané, because Leroy Sané, he's been killing it for Bayern in the Champions League. He's finally developing into a solid winger, you know, into a very solid Robin-esque like winger and all that stuff. So, yeah, super excited to see what Leroy Sané can do in that final if he's going to be playing, you know, if he can continue his incredible form and all that stuff. But yeah, nonetheless, I think Bayern can potentially get a win here over PSG, even though that's going to be difficult, but we'll see what happens because the World Cup is almost here, right around the corner, and of course, I'm super excited about it. Gonna try my best to watch every game and do all the World Cup video recaps because that's not going away anywhere on top of me, you know, playing FIFA Ultimate Team and making FIFA content and all that. So yeah, guys, hope you like this. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more football content.